Good day, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Computer Week on the Gamer Hours channel. Episode 1 is going to be me going through the best Nvidia Control Panel settings that I've been gathering throughout quite a bit longer time. Anyway, so getting right into it, if you have the Nvidia Control Panel, you know for sure, and you've opened it already, go to the next timestamp I have down below this video's player. If not, I'll show you how to get it right now. So if you're on Windows 10, you'll see something like this, and you right-click your desktop, and you'll see Nvidia Control Panel. Click that, and you should be put up right into the control panel. On Windows 11, you'll have to right-click, show more options, and then you'll see it there. If you didn't see it any of those ways, simply just type Microsoft Store, which come up right here. Once that loads in, just type Nvidia. The first thing will come up will be Nvidia Control Panel, and just hit install. Once you've done that, push open, and you'll be greeted with something like this. If not, just go to the top left and push Nvidia or adjust more image settings or preview. Now pay attention very carefully because this is one of the most important settings of the video. If you don't apply this one setting, then none of the settings we're about to apply will make any effect. So you don't want to touch any of the buttons except for the middle one right here. Use the advanced 3D image settings, and you want to push apply at the bottom right. You'll see I already applied the settings, so you won't see it on my screen, but push the bottom right apply button. Once you've done that, push take me there right next to it. Once you're on this screen, just copy my settings. If you need to pause, pause, but I'm going to go through it. So just copy these settings. Okay, so if you got all the settings down, great, just head to the next timestamp down below. If you want a little explanation, stay here and I'm going to explain them. Starting at the top, image scaling, ambient occlusion, all these different things are pretty self-explanatory. You know, there's just for graphics, and most of these you can just tamper with in your game or program. Except image scaling, some games I guess, very little though. But image scaling, I'm not a big fan of it. I know some people like it, you know, good for performance. I just think it's a big problem, and it really you really have a big visual impact in your game. So unless you have a really low-end system, I think you should leave this alone. Moving down here, you have background application max frame rate. I think you should set this. It maybe increase the lifespan of your GPU if you put 30 FPS, because when you leave that full screen application, it will turn that to 30 FPS, so it's limiting the GPU's usage, which is very good, putting the strain on and taking the strain off of it. Low latency mode, I know people are going to yell at me because I have this off. So if you have this off, it won't, because usually games now have the Nvidia low reflex low latency in the game. So if you have this off, that won't fight with that, because they'll be fighting each other, you know, this, that, trying to lower the latency, and in the end, it's doing so much processing in the background between just these two settings, it will pretty much increase the latency. What you're going to want to do, if you know your game, let's say I have CSGO. You want to find CSGO over here, just click the drop down, click CSGO, scroll down, find low latency mode. I already did it already, just click it, push ultra, and then you can apply. But only do it in the game that you know has no Nvidia reflex low latency, because they will fight and it's going to cause some bad latency issues. Scrolling down, max frame rate, I just leave this off. People say 240 or 144, whatever their monitor refresh rate is. You can set it in game. Almost all games have it if you want to. I just say leave it off. Shader cache size, another thing. People say use driver default. 10 gigs I think is good if you is a good amount of storage to have for this. If you use the driver default, they're not going to have a problem, but I think 10 gigs will be the safer option, or I know 10 gigs will be the safer option. If you want 5 gigs, go with 5 gigs. It's also good too if you have lower storage, but if you have 5 gigs is what you need to go with rather than 10, I think your problem is you need to free up some storage if you're looking for better performance. That's not a lot of storage, but yeah, 10 gigs recommended. All the other graphics settings are pretty self-explanatory except for performance, for texture filtering quality. I know that there's a max performance option, high performance option, and only unless you have a really low quality or a really low performance system, choose high performance. But here's the thing, if you choose the performance right in the middle option, you're actually getting better performance than high performance, because the GPU would use more usage if you have it on performance rather than high performance, because you're using just a little more texture, which increases the GPU usage by a lot, the textures. So really it's a little backwards trick over here. Aside from that, everything else is not super important, but that's about it we need here. We're going to go to the top left over here, configure sound and physics. Well, yeah, apply these. Make sure your processor is your Nvidia GeForce card. Push apply. Then go to the top left and select change resolution. Now you want to check your monitor's refresh rate if you don't know it. So yeah, take a look at the serial number, try to find it, and Make sure it's running at whatever it's refresher you bought it at. If not, in my case, I don't, because I have a problem with my monitor, it's only running at 120 and it's a 144Hz monitor. As you see, if I scroll up, I have created a custom resolution over here, which allows it to run at 144. So I want to apply that. How I made this is I go over to customize down here. I go to create custom resolution, and it would be a 120, like this. Nope, not like that, that's a lot of numbers. It should be a 120 when I first get it. I want to go down, put it 144, and then I push test, and then it would work. Just make sure that you're not going over or under to a weird amount of frames or refresh rate hertz, because it will really mess with your system, and mine just crashed with it. It's very picky with this. Now, you can push test. I'm going to push cancel because I already set mine up, and there you go. Moving on, adjust desktop color settings. I think this is a very important option, especially if you have, let's say, a cheaper or a lower end monitor over here. You want to turn up your digital vibrance. I know it look a lot better. You can go off of what these lights or colors go on over here. I recommend around 70 to 75. 65 you can go with. It really depends with your monitor, but I think 70 around there should be perfect. Moving down, go to around the first one over here. We don't need anything else. Go to advanced and switch it to full rather than limited, and push apply at the bottom right. That way you can get the full color palette of your monitor. And that's about it. We'll close this out. You push yes. I already have everything applied, and we're good. Aside from that, stay tuned for tomorrow's video to get the best FPS if you're on a laptop with a display or without a display, and I'll catch you guys then. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good one.